Well, good evening, folks. Thanks for clicking on to the tropical update for this evening. I did try and do a video yesterday, but unfortunately it didn't quite work out. I don't know what happened, but it never uploaded properly, so I apologise for that. Anyway, we've got the newly formed Tropical Storm Lee. We've been watching, of course, the progression of this system over the past several days, moving through the Gulf of Mexico, and of course it's kind of stalled out. It's around 2 miles an hour. It's moving towards the north, towards Louisiana, now currently 185 miles to the south of the Mississippi Delta, and we continue to see this system, and the threat it poses, folks, is quite remarkable, really, the amount of rain that we're expecting from this. And the nature of it, the reason being is, of course, the centre is slightly west of due south of Louisiana, and the problem is with the circulation, it's basically propelling heat and moisture constantly up into the coast, and with the fact that it's hardly moving at all, over the next several days we're going to be seeing the persistent flow and of course the persistent rainfall, and of course the tropical aspect of this makes for very, very heavy rain as well. That's the problem. But we continue to see shear over the northern Gulf, and that is prohibiting intensification in any big way at the moment. But my concern is, and I've said this for several days, if you lose that wind shear, folks, this thing could get pretty strong, I think. Not your Cat 3, not your Cat 4, not a Katrina or Rita, but I do believe a Category 1 hurricane is possible if we can see the shear loosen up a bit. And it does appear, the models are continuing to say that the wind shear will start to loosen off, and therefore we'll see Lee become better organised. As you can see here off NOAA, you can see here the system. Now there's a pretty decent band of cloud. Of course the circulation centre is probably right around here, and as you can see here, you can see the erosion, the decay of the western flank of this system, and it's simply because you've got wind blowing in off the west and northwest, and it's really making it look quite disorganised looking, but there's a lot of energy and a lot of power on the south and east side, and that's of course pumping all the moisture up into Louisiana. So basically I think the major concern is going to be around this kind of area here, from about central Louisiana and towards the New Orleans area, and perhaps along the Mississippi Gulf Coast. You'd maybe get 3 to 4 day rain totals, maybe pushing 20 inches locally. So it's a pretty big deal, folks. It really is. And it starts to draw your attention back, your mind back to Tropical Storm, the remnants of Tropical Storm Allison back in 2001 in Houston. Not even a tropical storm at that stage, and it dumped 38 inches of rainfall. It doesn't need to be a Cat 5 hurricane to produce massive amounts of rainfall, folks. And you've got the aspect, there's 2 key aspects for me here, or 3 should I say. Number 1, you've got near 90-degree waters across a large portion of the where basically the system is sitting. This whole area of the northern Gulf of Mexico is abnormally warm. It's about 1 to 3 degrees above normal, and you're talking an average temperature probably around 88 degrees. So very, very warm water to start with. Number 1, the system, like I say, the core, the centre sitting about here. So therefore, if the centre was sitting, say, here, you would have the moisture all streaming towards the kind of the panhandle of Florida up into Alabama, perhaps Georgia. But the fact is, you've got an alignment here. You've got the core sitting here, and therefore you've got that flow straight into Louisiana. And of course, it's actually sitting over the warmest portion of the Gulf of Mexico. It's not quite as warm on the eastern side, and therefore you've got all the ingredients for that tremendous amounts of water, tremendous amounts of convection, fueling these thunderstorms as well. And you've also got the fact that it's literally not moving. If this was moving, comes on shore and it goes out. But the problem is that this thing here even though the centre's only 185 miles from the Mississippi Delta, which is here, you've got probably about 3 days where it's not even going to go anywhere, and that flow continues and continues, and we're going to see some tremendous amounts of rainfall from this. And like I say, if that wind shear does ease up, we've got ourselves a hurricane, I think. And also Katia, of course, we've got regained hurricane strength the past 12 hours or so, and that system looks as if it's going to continue west-northwest. And unnervingly, folks, we've got a Katia will become probably a Cat 3 in the next couple of days, over the weekend perhaps. And the problem is, folks, that the models are continuing to push this thing farther west than originally thought, and that could be a concern, folks. It will start to turn towards the north, but how long will it take to turn? And the longer it takes to turn,